Welcome to this latest episode of the C-Suite podcast in partnership with Payable and their Pay It Forward podcast. Now, over the course of this series, we've been exploring the world of payments, and you can catch up on all previous episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Now, today we're focusing on the checkout experience. The checkout is really where great customer experience can either shine or fall apart. So in this episode, we explore how leading brands are reimagining that final step, whether that's online or in store, to make payments faster, smarter, and more invisible. I'm your host, Graham Barrett, and joining me for this discussion today are Charles Adji, Product Owner Payments at TUI, Solmaz Zohdi, Product Owner at IKEA, and Laura Treude, Director of Group Payment at Douglas. Welcome to you all. And to start off with, I'd be really keen to get a snapshot of the checkout experience at your respective brands. Charles, maybe we can start with you.
Sure. At TUI, we are designing checkout to feel as seamless as possible, so that it feels like you're just about to start your holiday, intuitive, fast, and flexible. Behind the experience sits our one payment platform, which connects all our brands and markets through a single orchestration layer. It powers local payment preferences like Ideal, Trustly, and Apple Pay across Europe, while giving customers the same smooth experience whether they book online, through retail, or a call center. So the goal is simple: make payments invisible so customers can focus on the excitement of their trip, not the friction of the checkout.
Sounds good. Laura, does that chime with the experience that you're trying to give your customers at Douglas?
Yeah, I would say at Douglas it's somehow similar. We try to create a checkout experience that is, as frictionless as possible. But on the other hand, we try to assist our customers where possible. To reduce the friction, we are, for example, just about to start a new collaboration with a new payment service provider. Also with less redirect, for example, to get a better customer experience. But on the other hand, we try to assist our customers where possible. For example, we offer our own buy now, pay later option in the DACH region with open invoice. And there, for example, we try to inform the customer whenever it's necessary. For example, when we start scoring a customer, that is something that we see as our obligation to also have our customers informed about what we are doing with them in the background, and also with about what PSPs we are working with.
Excellent. And then finally coming to you, Solmaz, what's key for you in terms of the checkout experience at IKEA?
Right, so it's more or less similar. So checkout is, as we know, it's no longer just a transactional moment, right? It's a crucial part of the customer journey. How I see it, it's where convenience, trust, and brand perception, in this case, IKEA, converge. And we have come to see that checkout is not just at the end of the shopping experience, it's not the end result. But it's a moment of truth, right? Either you build it or you break it. Our mission to make checkout feel less like a task and make it more like a natural part of the shopping journey. And we have found, that moment when you find everything and you just want to get going. And that's where exactly when we want to meet the customer to give them that options that meets their mood and their mission. And at IKEA, as you know, we have different sorts of checkout. We have self-checkout, we have shop and go, we have the traditional ones. And this is where kind of like depending on your mood and depending on your journey, you can choose like what fits you best. And what I would like to also add is that ultimately it's about empathy. We constantly ask ourselves that what does the customer feel in that moment? Are they confident? Are they rushed? Are they frustrated? And checkout should feel like a natural extension of the brand, and yes, not a hurdle. And that's where like you guys also touched. It should be frictionless.
Now, what I'm also interested in here is we've got, your three respective brands here, all quite different industries. Obviously, we've got IKEA in terms of furniture and home furnishings. We've got health and beauty, and then we've got travel. So how does what you're selling influence the checkout experience? Solmaz, pick up on that in terms of how what you're specifically selling at IKEA informs the checkout experience.
So I would say IKEA is a bit of a retail unicorn. You can walk in for a pack of napkins or a bag of or a packet of candles and walk out with a kitchen, right? That's the kind of range we have. It's from tiny impulse buys to big ticket purchases. Means our checkout experience has to be incredibly versatile. If I should build a picture for you, imagine a customer who's just popped in during lunch break. They grab a few items, right? Storage box or like a plant, and they are in a hurry. So for them, speed is everything, right? And that's where shop and go or self checkout shines. It's fast, it's frictionless, and it gives them the control. Now there is another scenario where someone who spends 2 hours of planning a new living room setup, they have chosen a sofa, a rug, and maybe a lighting solution. That customer might need actually extra help with delivery options, maybe financing, maybe loyalty benefits, and you name it. Their checkout experience needs to be more guided and more supported, and definitely more human. So we have built different checkout paths to meet these needs. It's not just about selling products, it's about supporting the customer through whatever journey they are on, whether it's quick grab and go or a considered investment in their home. So checkout should feel like a fit for that moment. And that's the challenge, designing a system that it's flexible enough to serve both ends of the spectrum while still feeling intuitive and cohesive. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about how we sell. It's about how we make people, our customers, feel when they are ready to buy and make them happy.
Yeah, Laura, let's come back to you and talk about Douglas, because I guess, obviously that's it's not the big ticket purchases with your brand that Solmaz has just identified. It's more of that grab and go. Or how would you describe it?
I would say how seriously we take our mission towards our customers can be simply seen, with looking at how we call the employees that work in our stores. We call them beauty advisors, and that is exactly how we see ourselves, right? We see us as personal advisors for our customers, and that is exactly what we would like to grant, right? The best customer experience, and especially if we speak about in-store processes and in-store checkout experience, it's like, we strongly believe in guiding and assisting the customer from right at the beginning of the shopping experience until the very end. Meaning for us, it's important to personally welcome the customer when he or she enters our stores, and and to advise him or her on everything that is needed. And for us, it's and that where payment solutions step into the game. For example, SoftPOS is a very important solution for us, right? Because it's not like that we would like to advise the customers on product as best and possible and then say to him or her, okay, great, now we are over, just go over there to the line and stand alone in queue waiting until you can check out. So it's just like we would really like to end this customer experience together with our customer, and that is why we would like to have this payment part, as the other colleagues already said, as invisible as possible, and as quick as possible. And that is why we strongly believe in the power of such mobile checkout solutions that we can fulfill together with our beauty advisor and the customer.
And I guess that must chime with you, Charles, to a certain respect, in terms of that advice that you need to give your customers, because clearly with travel, you could just book your holiday online yourself. But if you're going to a specific travel company, you're looking for, that advice, those bespoke features that travel person might give to you. Is that right?
Yes, and just to kind of go back to what Solmaz said and what Laura said, because they made very important points. So Solmaz shared about the foundational principle when it comes to checkout, the empathy that you need to have for whoever is trying to purchase with you, which means that you have to create different checkout path. It can be one size fits all. You have to think from their perspective, and then that will be your guiding light to know how do you embrace this customer to make sure that they can have the best experience possible. And Laura then shared about the importance of support. Now, when you think about support, you don't think about support in the context of checkout experience, because there's a stigma with support, because when you think support, you think something has gone wrong. Actually, support is a fundamental part of a checkout experience, because when things do go wrong, how do you rectify that? And the customers will praise you for it if they feel like they are supported in a more human way. And things do go wrong all the time in a checkout experience because the issuing banks have their own rules around what they want to redeem and what they don't want to redeem. So we have to really be thoughtful about the unhappy path, which many teams, our team, for example, we spend a lot of time thinking about the unhappy path. What should we do when things go wrong? So back to the travel space, at TUI, selling travel is very different to selling a t-shirt. So a booking involves multiple passengers. And that's a very important point there. The person moving the mouse is not necessarily the person traveling, or in some cases, they're not traveling alone. So when you're selling to them or when that you're trying to help them check out, you're not just thinking about that one person, you're thinking about everyone connected to that journey, right? So we have to optimize for that experience. And then it means that things around payment method, making sure that the way we collect or secure that booking is very thoughtful. So the complexity of this all shapes how we design the checkout. So we don't see it as a single transaction. It's all about flexibility because with travel, you don't only pay once, you pay multiple times. So we allow partial captures, refunds, all of that stuff. We really are very thoughtful around how much flexibility we bring to the flow. So the technology around that is our micro front ends, which it allows us to enable all our selling channels to tailor their payment flow to their customer. Because the customer going on First Choice might be different to the customer going on the TUI website, or might be different to the customer going on the Marilla Cruise website. So we allow all of us different selling channels to tailor the experience to their customer, and then we balance between consistency and flexibility, which is the key to trust and high conversion.
I think what I'm hearing is that behind the scenes, this is a very complex process, actually, with a lot of different things come into play, whether that's, the payment itself, there's the loyalty that Solmaz mentioned, there's fraud, there's logistics, there's all these different kinds of things. And you've all spoken to me about how the end game is to make it seamless, frictionless for your customers. So, Laura, what is the hardest thing about unifying all of those elements and making it seamless to the customer?
Yeah, as you were just saying, Graham, I think and in payments, it's all about taking the right decisions with daily trade-offs, I would say, right? It just taking the example, I think that somehow all of us are busy with day by day is to reduce the payment cost to gain as much cost efficiency as possible, but also to grant the best customer experience, right? That costs some things, right? It's just simple. But I think the hardest part is definitely to meet all the compliance and regulatory requirements, right? To meet with all of them and at the same time still grant the best customer experience. I think one of the best examples that we all know is what came into effect when we look at PSD2, a strong customer authentication, right? We know that it's somehow necessary, of course, and it improves the security for our customers, which we, I think, all support. But of course, it's always like we don't want this friction for good customers, right? And that is how, fraud management in general works as part of payment, right? To really keep the fraudsters away, but at the same time not lose the genuine good customers. And that is, I would say the hardest part and you need to take decisions day by day, right? It's not like that you can build up a cool and beautiful strategy that you can follow up for the next, I think it's not about weeks, right? You need to take decisions day by day, what you do best to generate the best checkout experience for your customers.
Absolutely. And Solmaz, just coming back to Shop and Go, I was actually in IKEA on the weekend, so I got to experience this firsthand before I had my meatballs, obviously, which is what you have to do. But what I'm interested in is you spoke about empathy earlier with the customers. I think you've all used that word. So how do you know when the customers are happy with, to scan and pay for it themselves, or when they want that kind of more traditional checkout? How much research has gone into that, and how much more of an understanding do you have now about what the customer wants?
Yeah, so when it comes to, not just shop and go, but any products that we are working with, we know that we are moving towards data-driven mentality. So we are working a lot with understanding our customers, getting the right data, analyzing it, and understanding where, when, and where to use it. And when it comes to shop and go, we have learned that people want control, right? But not all the time. And shop and go is brilliant when you're in rush or just picking up a few things. It's fast and it's empowering the customers, and it puts the shoppers in the driver's seat, and that's perfect. But there are moments, as I will repeat what Charles said earlier as well. It's not one size fits all situation, right? So there are moments where people they still want that human touch. Maybe they are buying something bulky or they have questions. They just need that little extra reassurance. And I have seen myself, like when I'm in the store, that sometimes when you have questions or the customers they have questions and they get support from the coworkers, it just like cheers them up. They need help to like navigate, for example, the tricky return situation or find the right product. That kind of interaction kind of like builds the trust, and sometimes that's the highlight of their visit. um, what's interesting is that going back, it's that it's not the same size that fills all the situations. So same person might use the shop and go one day, and then the next day they might turn out to another kind of like checkout. It depends on their mood and what they want to buy on that specific day or time. And then yes, so it's not about replacing people. It goes back to giving the shoppers the freedom to choose an experience and have the best solution at that moment. And when that gets the balance, and when we get that balance right, that's when the magic happens, right? It's seamless, it's frictionless, and it feels like the store just gets into you. But we are constantly like gathering data and analyzing it to understand our customers best.
Clearly, lots of innovation happening across all of your brands at the moment in terms of the checkout experience. Let's look to the future a little bit. I don't think we could complete a podcast nowadays without talking about AI. So, let's start with you, Charles. Where do you think that AI could help specifically with the checkout experience? Maybe how it's being used today and how it could be used in the future.
I think AI is already improving the checkout experience in a very subtle but powerful way. Today, we can use the data to detect and prevent fraud in real time without creating unnecessary friction. So the AI tooling are the first step on helping us to really be forward thinking on how we improve the checkout experience. But it doesn't just stop there, because I think going forward, I would like to see how AI reshapes how we optimize experience dynamically. So think about real-time orchestration decision on how we choose the best acquirer, payment method based on the customer profile, location, and past success rate. All this will depend on data. So, AI is only as good as the fuel, and the fuel is the data. And if the companies right now are not thinking about how to aggregate their data and how to make sense of it, clean it up, then they can't make the most of the innovations that would come our way in the future. In the future, I think it would be good to see a scenario where we have almost like a proactive assistant where we're resolving failed payment automatically or suggesting the most reliable way for customers to pay for the next trip. That's what I like to see. I think professionals in this field, we spend a lot of time troubleshooting, we spend a lot of time triaging. And if there's a way to kind of systemize that and to spend less time firefighting, allow the AIs to deal with that, and then we can spend more time really thinking about how to build for the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, well, that leads nicely on to my next question. We're seeing the rise of just walk out and app-based shopping. So could we realistically see a future with no checkout at all? And indeed, would that be a good thing? Laura, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say maybe jumping on this AI topic a little bit again, right? I think that Gen AI is something that will not only be used in the checkout, it will determine how the checkout will look like, or maybe it will vanish somehow completely, right? Because if we think about Gen AI and all this shopping agent movement that is going on right now, I think that is something that we need to get familiar with, that we need to get prepared for. Not also from the shopping side of things, really to adjust our marketing activities, but also from payment, and especially I would say from fraud side of things, because as we all know, fraud as a service is a hot topic right now, and AI is not only used for good reasons, right? It's used for good reasons, but also from the fraudster side of the world, really to make our lives not as easy as it was before, and that is something we need to get prepared for, I would say. And imagine a world where you do not have this checkout moment anymore, because the shopping agent is doing everything for you, and you can't interact with your customers directly anymore. That is something that we need to get prepared for. That is something that we are busy at Douglas right now. Really imagine how we can still interact, because as said, we see ourselves as advisors for our customers, and fully fine with us that our customers are open for this Gen AI experience and would like to have it easy as before. But that is we're trying to see how we can fit into this process still, and how we can still offer the best advice then.
Do you see that as the next evolution for IKEA, Solmaz? The next evolution of shop and go is actually no checkout at all?
Well, we are definitely heading in that direction, right? I mean, as you mentioned it as well, shop and go is one step into that direction, and customer love the freedom that it gives them. But here is one thing. Not everyone wants checkout to disappear. Some people still value the moment of interaction, the sense of closure. So I don't think the future is about removing checkout entirely. I think that it's about making it invisible when it needs to be, and then meaningful when it matters. And I think that the best checkout is the one that fits the customer's moment in that very specific moment. And also, it depends on the company and the brand and the products that we are selling. So back again to what we said earlier, that it's not one solution that fits all. So it depends on the products and the company.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think checkout happens on the checkout page or when the customer lands on the website or the selling channel? Where do you think checkout begins?
Are you addressing that to me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Where do I think the checkout begins? I guess you're going to say something like it starts as soon as I enter the store, or my very first interaction with the company. Is that where you're going with that?
Yes, that's where I'm going. Because when you think about checkout, it's a decision, a primitive decision in the customer's mind of how they want to pay. And most of the customers already have an intention in their mind of how they would like to pay you, even before they pick what they're going to pay for, right? So if we think about that for a minute, checkout will fade, but it would not disappear, because the customer will always have the intention of how they want to pay you, right? So has the whole experience evolved on how they browse the website, find what they're looking for, whether it's through the Gen AIs of this world or through affiliate websites? Checkout becomes like an ambient checkout, if I can use that word, where customers basically just naturally pay you within the experience. So us as professionals, we have to really think a lot about the experience, not just the checkout page, right? Because a lot of conversation happens about the checkout page, but we have to think broadly around the experience of a customer in general, because the customer's already made a decision in their mind of how they will pay you. So if we don't embed ourselves with the experience of what they're paying for, we would not know how to surface to them how to pay when it's relevant or when they're ready to come back.
That's a very good point, and that does ring very true, because of course you have an idea in your own head about how you're going to approach this transaction, how you're going to approach this purchase. Absolutely. Okay, Laura, Solmaz, just a couple of final points from you, maybe about, we've spoken about AI, we've talking about maybe no checkout in the future. Are there any other innovations in terms of the checkout that you see coming down in the next few years or so. Laura, finish off with you.
I would really say maybe to sum up my words before a little bit, right? It's for e-com, I would separate this a little bit between e-com and the physical world. For the e-com world, I would definitely say that as we've just mentioned, that Gen AI will definitely change our minds, right? We need to rethink everything we have been doing before, and that of course, goes beyond payment activities. I absolutely agree with Charles. For the in-store world, I would say for Douglas, as said, the soft POS experience really to guiding the customer until the very end of the shopping experience will be one of the hottest topic over the next years for us. And also, going away from this, I would say, this cold cash register moment, right? That is something that we would like to, I would say, not completely get rid of, but to create it in a more beautiful way.
Very good point. Yeah. Solmaz, final word to you on any innovations you see happening at IKEA or more generally in the checkout experience.
Right. I think the biggest opportunity is making checkout truly channelless, where it doesn't matter if you're online, in store, or on your phone. The experience should feel consistent, personalized, and effortless. And what I can see, it's for example the omni-channel refund, where as a customer you should not really feel like if you buy something online and you want to return it in store, as a customer you should not feel which channel you are dealing with your return. So it should be as seamless as possible. And there are a few more examples like payments orchestration, or the mobile POS or tap to phone, that it's being the hot topic these days. So those are the topics I see that we will be working in coming few years.
And that's a great way to end today's conversation. So thanks so much to Charles, Solmaz and Laura for their insights today. And that just leaves me to say, please do follow this Pay It Forward series wherever you get your podcasts. You can catch up with all the previous episodes at payable.com/podcast and also on our C-Suite podcast website. If you want to contribute to the discussion, you can find the C-Suite podcast on LinkedIn and all the usual social channels. And finally, if you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can do that via the contact form at csuitepodcast.com. But for now, from me, Graham Barrett, thank you for listening and goodbye.